Hello and welcome. This is another edition of the Founder.I.Am Series. I'm Jessica from Sensoriam, and today we have the fabulous Adrian from Spiritus Stones. Welcome, Adrian.
Thank you, Jessica. It's wonderful to finally meet you face to face.
Yes. I think we're officially allowed to say that in this time and age where that this is actually a meeting, whereas pre-pandemic everyone was like, no, it's not real. We'll just do this and then we'll physically meet and then we've met each other. But
Yeah, that's
now
true.
this is the way it's done, isn't
This
it?
is the new world we live in. Yeah.
Exactly. Now I'm loving all of the green behind you there. Are you a bit of a green thumb? Do you love gardening?
That has happened over time, only over the last couple of years, particularly during lockdown. I just needed something to nurture besides myself. So I formed a small obsession with that and more recently started growing herbs in my
Ooh.
apartment. So it's been a nice journey just understanding, how to care for different herbs and,
Mm.
make it feel like I'm actually evolving something else other than me.
Yeah, wow, I love that. That's the extension of a spiritual development evolution and
Yeah,
then coming out of you in a way, right?
absolutely. They say plants have feelings, so
Mhm.
it's been a nice nurturing experience working with them.
Okay, and do they have names, the ones behind you?
Not yet, but maybe I should name them. Well, this one
What?
actually, this San Pedro cactus, I call Pedro. So
Right.
not very creative, but that's the
It's
only
a
one that's named.
start. That's right. Well, they look amazing and like they're very much loving your care and your nurturing, that's
Thank
for
you.
sure. Now, obviously, you have begun Spiritus Stones way back in 2019, as I understand it. Is that correct?
That's right.
Yeah. Now, first of all, what are you wearing today? Is there a particular stone you're wearing today and why?
Okay, yes. The main stone I woke up with that I really felt like I needed was citrine. So
Mm,
this piece I call the light maker bracelet. Citrine is known as the light maker
right.
because it amplifies all of the good vibes in your life. So
Mm.
they say it repels negative energy. I woke up with a smile on my face and I really wanted to just work with that.
Ah.
So, and I think the sun has something to do with it as well. I'm feeling winter's ending, spring's coming on,
Mhm.
and that always helps.
Mhm. Yes. I felt that this morning actually when went to see sunrise on the cliffs here at Bondi. And even though it was like cold in the morning, there was a part of me that said, I was like, we've almost made it through winter. It's gonna come and it's big great. I love winter, of course, too. All the
Yeah,
seasons are important, but there is something special about summer here. And I think you've had another one on there too.
I do. So this one is a yet to be released piece. I'm doing limited edition Zodiac bracelets every month. And
Yes.
this particular one is the Libra. Actually, I'm still working on the name. So excuse
Ooh.
me. It's probably going to be called the Libra Harmony bracelet. So this is what they call a rainbow tourmaline, and it
Wow.
occurs naturally in nature. All of these colors, I've just displayed them as a bit of a rainbow,
Yes, yes,
and it's
yes.
all about universal love and harmony,
Mm.
which I think is relevant to everyone, not just Librans. So
Mhm.
I'm loving wearing this piece right now, and it's
Mhm.
all natural. Like it's not dyed. I'm just obsessed with how all of these colors. Can you see the
Yes, I can.
different
They're amazing.
gradients? Yeah. So
Yeah.
that's the other one that I really felt like that harmony today.
Yeah.
Um, and I'm feeling all of the energy now. So
Mm.
that I need. Every morning I wake up, depending on how I feel and what energies I want to amplify that particular day, I'll always select. Obviously, I've got many bracelets. I know.
Mm.
And I'll pick and choose the ones that are relevant for me on that particular day. So yeah, so
Yeah.
these are the most relevant. Yeah.
Cool. It's a little bit like smell and perfume and scent. It has that ability. A lot of people use it for a mood shift and change. They choose based on how they want to feel, how they want to present themselves. And so it's interesting how, yeah, our senses can give us those types of experiences and then be amplified by things that we wear as well as things that we spray on ourselves.
Absolutely. And I couldn't agree more with that. For many years now, used scents to bring back those For me, scents are all about the wanderlust memories it brings back from
Mm,
vacations that I've gone to in different parts of the world or Australia. And it
mm,
always brings back often the first time that I wore that scent.
yeah.
I'll always choose a new scent going on a trip
Mm,
with that intention. So it always brings me back the next time I wear it in the
yeah.
future.
I've heard that a fair few times. I think it's quite a strategy that many people use. A scent for a location, and yeah, this is the one I'm. Some people do it for their weddings, of course, and then others do it for locations and places they've gone or are going to. Because, of course, smell is directly connected to that memory and emotional part of our brains. So it just goes ding, 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 and brings it in there. Now, tell us, how did, obviously, I did a little bit of investigation into what led you to what you're doing at the moment. And you've done the sort of corporate and sales and things like that. Tell us a little bit about what the world was like for Adrian before you went on a bit of a journey.
I was working very much in the rat race,
Hmm.
and excuse that pun. I was in the corporate world. I After high school, I went to university, did my commerce marketing degree just down south in Wollongong University, which is beautiful uni. I love it.
Yes.
And fresh out of uni, I got a job at a magazine publisher. At the time, it was called ACP Magazines.
Mm-hmm.
And I worked my way up into a sales role. So for a living, I was effectively presenting new magazines and managing the ranges of magazines at different retailers or newsagents that sold them.
Right.
So it was a fun world to work in at the time, being fresh out of uni, and a
Mm,
wonderful way to meet a wonderful friendship base.
mm,
But over the years, I felt that I worked my way up, and I was the last role before I got out of the corporate world was heading up the sales team at a book publisher
wow.
in Sydney. And I was very passionate at the time when I was
Mm,
working in there, but it got to the point where I really felt something was missing in
mm,
my life. I just couldn't work it out.
yeah.
So at that point, by chance, a girlfriend of mine invited me to try out a Vedic meditation course
Mm, mm,
that went for about 6 weeks at the time. So, and like most forms of meditation, it just gives you that clarity when you
mm,
just have that stillness in your day.
mm.
So I was practicing that for 20 minutes twice a day, as is the traditional way with Vedic or transcendental meditation.
Yes. Yep.
And within the first 6 months of doing that, I had this moment in one of my meditations where some people call it the gap, where it's a moment of complete stillness. There's no thoughts in my mind except
Mm,
for, excuse it if it sounds too woo woo, just my higher self talking to me. I was talking to
mhm.
myself in a way.
Yes. Yes.
And what my higher self said to me was, life doesn't need to be that complicated. Um, you're not completely fulfilled doing what you're doing. Save a little more money, quit your work, sell your apartment, travel around the world until you work out what your next steps are. I'm like, that sounds pretty awesome. So I did that. I saved for another 6 months while I was working and
Yes.
threw it all in and started traveling.
Mm,
And I had traveled before, but not to that extent. So I
mm,
traveled for 3 years.
mm.
And that those travels took me to Mexico, and I had this wonderful connection with Mexico, like I had lived many past lifetimes there.
Yeah.
The first time and I still don't speak Spanish properly to this day, so unfortunately, I never remembered the Spanish from a previous lifetime.
That's
Um, the experience that it took me to was a healing with a shaman just
right.
outside of Mexico City.
Mm,
And at the end of that healing, the shaman gifted me with a tiger's eye bracelet.
mm,
And tiger's eye it's a stone that is quite popular in Australia as well. It is formed in Australia and also comes from Mexico and the US.
mm,
And he explained the healing energies and the symbolism of tiger's eye. And one
mm,
of those symbolisms is that it's all about manifesting your wildest dreams and desires in life.
mm.
And I felt that was particularly relevant to me at that point because I felt like I was already living the life of my dreams, getting to travel around the world and
Ah,
just experiencing all of these new cultures. So I decided to stay in Mexico for another 6 months after that
wow.
and learn how to create. mindful jewelry or wellness jewelry with different artisans around there. And again, still didn't learn that much Spanish, but I was able to learn from the shaman as well, the healing energies in different gemstones. So
Mm.
I brought that concept back to Australia and wanted to share the inspiring qualities of gemstones with my now audience through
Mm.
Spiritus Stones.
Mm. Amazing. What a journey to sort of uh, go from that sales and book publishing world to incredible ancient knowledge almost that you've unearthed in yourself and become reconnected with, to then now share it with others that it resonates with. Um, and so when you first quit the job, where was the first country that you went to?
I went straight to New York. At
Wow.
that point, I hadn't completely let go of
Yeah.
what's a dream to work in New York City. So it was just one of those steps that I needed to take on the way
Yes.
to Mexico. Mexico was the next spot. So I was there living with a friend for 5 weeks in New York City.
Mhm.
I was lucky enough to have someone there, so I didn't have to spend anything on rent.
Mm.
And in the mindset of, can I live here, work here? It was a wonderful experience to have because my perspective at the time was many people that were based there at the time were work was such a big part of their lives.
Yeah.
And I say that with no judgment. I simply didn't want my life to revolve around work. It
Mm.
had my whole working life leading up to that.
Mm.
And so there was something calling me in Mexico. So I went to Mexico from there. And um, a dream that I had had for a while was to build a holistic bed and breakfast.
Ah.
A little side hustle I had when I was working in the corporate world was managing my own apartment in Potts Point and other apartments of friends through Airbnb. I
Yeah.
would set them up like a little mini hotel and have the little welcome basket, like many people do now.
Yeah.
And I absolutely loved creating that experience for people at the time. It was fulfilling that creative urge that I had
Mm.
in me
And
that
the
now.
nurturing, also the nurturing thing as well that you have. Yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely. So that yeah, that was one of those connections as well. And I felt on just traveling around Mexico for the next several months after that, looking for a destination as to where I'd want to build a bed and breakfast. I felt that I enjoyed the journey so much. I couldn't
Mm.
possibly decide on where I would want to live.
Mm.
Um, there were just too many beautiful locations. I didn't want to be based in one spot. So that didn't eventuate, but at least at that time, who knows what the future holds.
Mm.
So Mexico was that core destination that I just kept on going back to over the course of those 3 years.
Mm.
Yeah, and that's
Mm.
where the inspiration behind Spiritus Stones was formed.
Mm. Now, in terms of, it's not too woo woo at all for me. I'm very much, I speak to my higher self often. Or my multiple identities across the multiverse in a way, in terms of all that quantum, very much live and breathe a lot of that, which is why there is that alignment, obviously, with the Spiritus Stones and the natural perfume and the coming back to uh, being able to hear that higher voice, that higher self, and being able to find rituals, moments that allow the rest of the world to move away, or this 3D world to move away, so that we can actually get more of that connection. And for us at Sensorium, we feel that perfume is one of those, but natural perfume, so that it's not adding to the layers, it's actually more a reconnection to the nature and the natural way. So how do you in business then, given that you gave up the rat race, went on this adventure, but now you have your own business again, and it means that you have to be doing the business all of the time. How do you now find that balance between making sure that it doesn't end up feeling like the rat race again, but the reality of needing to run a business in order to have this mission and get it into more people's hands?
Absolutely. Well, there were absolutely times, especially in the first year from when I launched the business, because it's going to be 3 years this September since I launched Spirit of Stones. in the first year, because look, having your own business, you learn every day. Often you feel like a jack of all trades and a master of none.
Yes.
I found in the first year that what really triggered this new journey in my life through Vedic meditation,
Mm.
I felt that there were many days where I just wasn't meditating, and I let go
Mm.
of my daily ritual that
Mm.
gave me the clarity and allowed that connection to my higher self to start this business, something that
Mm.
I wanted to share with other people.
Mm.
And I found that I let that go in the first year or 18 months of the business.
Mm.
And after that, I just got straight back into it because I just felt the stress levels continue to grow. And it
Yeah.
was easy to let go of. It does take work, having
Yeah.
those daily rituals. They say you need to do something for 21 days in a
Mm-hmm.
row for it to become habit.
Yeah.
To me, it took longer than that.
Yeah.
So I find that now that I've gone back to doing my twice a day meditation,
Mm.
I begin my day with that. So it starts my day. I
Mm.
wake up. It gives me that clarity
Mm.
and allows me to reset before a hectic work day begins. And
Mm.
then in the early evenings, I'll meditate again, which
Mm.
effectively is that closure on the day. Uh,
Mm.
and the separation between work and whatever we want to call it, playtime,
Yeah.
just relaxing and letting go so I
Yeah.
can end the day.
Yeah.
I do still, my workshop is also in my home. I've set
Mm.
up the second bedroom as the work. So I find that it's particularly important for me.
Mm.
Otherwise, I'll never leave the office
Mm-hmm.
to be able to have that separation. And thankfully, meditation does that for me.
Mm. Great. Yes, those rituals, they are enriching, of course,
Yeah.
and why we then take them on board. But I agree, it is so easy once you then follow the inspiration and you get it started in your own business, requires a lot of you in terms of time and energy and resources. It is easy to sort of slip off. But I think we're part of that next generation where we can have the awareness to then go, this has gotten harder again, probably because I've dropped off some of those rituals. So I need to actually bring them in, because those are the things that bring the ease and the space back in a way.
Absolutely.
Even though they take the time away, you end up actually with more energy to get things done. It's an interesting juxtaposition of the two things that don't seem to go together, but they're actually helping each other.
Yep, completely agree.
Yeah. So tell me about, so you go, okay, I want to make these beautiful pieces of jewelry that mean something and help people. How do you then go about, because I know at least with perfume as well, you have the idea and the inspiration. How did you go about finding where to find these stones, and then how to work out, have they been extracted from the earth sustainably and not, in the hands of children that we hear all those terrible stories? Like, how did you start learning about that side of things?
Absolutely. Well, first started with Google.
Yep.
But I actually launched as it turned out, my business launched only a few months before COVID started.
Mm.
So the whole original intention of the business to be able to go and ensure that I'm tracing where all of my gemstones are from, because
Mm.
I agree, it's very important that we ensure that they're sustainably extracted from the earth,
Mm.
was for me to personally travel to those destinations to see exactly how it's all worked.
Mm.
And I'm a big believer we need to trust, but at the very start of this business, I needed to see it with my own eyes. So unfortunately, that made it challenging at the start because it was COVID. So different ways that I did that was thankfully I was able to partner with some businesses. Some of them are based in the States as well, because it's a wonderful vantage point being there. A lot of beautiful natural gemstones come from the
Mm.
Americas and
Mm.
Australia.
Mm.
Uh, Businesses that had set up a wonderful network of traceable gemstones and ethically sourced gemstones with different mines, particularly around Brazil,
Mm.
Mexico, the US, Madagascar, and Australia.
Mm.
And so I found that made it that much easier for me to be able to work with certain businesses that had already done the hard yards at a time where you could actually travel.
Mm.
Um, now that, so that's how I originally started sourcing the gemstones. Now that we can travel again, that is the next step in the evolution of Spiritus Stones for me to now be able to go out and do
Mm,
that for myself. And
mm,
I find travel fun. I'm a
mm,
wanderlust soul, and I like to be able to do that.
mm,
Um, because the whole intention of the brand is to inspire people to live a more mindful life. And
mm,
it absolutely should start with the natural materials that I use for my
mm,
products.
mm. Excellent. I imagine that you can do a whole lot of really great video and content pieces when you travel around that part of it as well, for us to come on the journey with you as to where these things come from, that then connects us to place. Not only is it a tiger eye into and what sort of energy it has, it also has taken on the energy of the place in which it's found too, right? And almost the DNA of that environment is then infused within that particular stone to then have it as that actually adds a whole extra layer to the usefulness or the interest or the connection too, I would imagine.
Absolutely, absolutely. Gemstones come from so many beautiful wanderlust locations from all around the globe, and to be able to share that story through content is one of the exciting parts of my job.
Yeah.
By far, I feel that my purpose in this lifetime is to inspire people through creation. I love creating product.
Mm.
We make to order in the workshop, so when an order comes in, we'll create that piece generally
Yeah.
within 24 hours. It's getting more challenging as we grow. But another exciting part will be the travel piece to be able to go and trace the stones, and what a wonderful excuse to travel as well. Hey,
Yeah, that's right. Exactly. And so what does that future look like for Spiritus Stones? What's the travel element, but what else would you like to see happen for that business and yourself as part of it?
absolutely. Well, travel is very much connected to the next phase in the Spirit of Stones brand because what we've just started to do is partner with artisans from different parts of the world,
Mm,
very much from the developing world as well, to be able to
mm,
celebrate their artisanal skills,
mm,
to be able to support those communities that make, whether we're talking about wonderful fabrics that have come from organic or recycled cottons to ceramics that have come from the earth in Mexico. We've just started working with a really cool duo that are based in Bali.
mm.
And these guys were born and raised in Bali as well. And they work with natural dyes with fabrics. So
Mm.
they're actually, and I haven't actually spoken to anyone in the Spiritus community about it yet. But we're making a little collection of bags that we've dyed the handles for with natural inks. So they've used, and they've sent me videos of what they've done, and I went there myself as well to see how they
Yeah.
create these. They've used coconut husks, which they boil down to create these beautiful natural dyes. I've tried doing
Mm.
it myself here. I'm certainly not an expert. That's why I'm working with artisans
Yes.
for what they're doing, and I'll be able to now share their story.
Yeah.
So that is the next phase for the business to be able to share other mindfully made products
Mm.
outside of the jewelry realm
Mm.
and to be able to celebrate those artisans and their culture and their story
Mm.
with my audience.
Mm.
So again, it's all coming back to travel.
Yeah. Travel, that's
Yeah,
right. And collaboration, it sounds like as well. So
absolutely.
for you, then, as the founder, what have you found has worked to help spread the message in a way? Whether we call it sales, marketing, branding, whatever, it's actually about spreading of the message so that you find the customers that resonate with you and what you're about and the pieces that you are creating. What have you seen has worked for you as a mindful brand and business?
Something that's worked by far more than anything is word of mouth.
Yeah.
I find that what's wonderful for my particular business is it's very giftable. Every
Mm,
piece symbolizes something inspiring, whether it is about courage, self love,
mm,
new beginnings, and
mm.
who doesn't experience new beginnings at some point in their life?
Yeah, yeah.
Um, I find that the giftability comes through the symbolism. So if someone's getting married, that's a new beginning in its own right. So A lot of my customers, they'll buy for themselves to validate the product, to
Yes. Yeah.
test the quality, see how
Yes.
it feels on their skin.
Yeah.
Then they'll come back to buy for themselves again, thankfully, hopefully,
Yeah.
and then for their loved ones,
Mm.
whether it's friends or family. So I absolutely love that part of the business, and that has made the marketing a little more cost effective for me as well as a brand, because I'm not solely relying on digital advertising,
Yeah.
and it's become more challenging. My business originally started off advertising through social media on Facebook and Instagram,
Yeah.
and that's become more and more challenging over the last 12 months.
Mm-hmm.
Since iPhone have brought in their privacy update,
Mm.
about 75% of Australians have opted out of data collection. So it's hard to sort of pinpoint the ads.
Mm.
So the word of mouth has really helped sustain the business for this long.
Mm.
And now what we've just started doing is started offering a little value add, so a little special discount to customers that now share their Spiritus creation and how they have incorporated that into their lives on
Mm.
social media. So we can also share that love
Yes.
with our audience to
Yeah.
inspire them in a new way too. So, it's all about, I guess, the credibility and the validation for other customers to inspire them to incorporate it into their lives in new ways.
Mm. Mm. It's true. That's
Yeah.
great. So yeah, that I mean, we're finding similar in terms of the social media space and digital spend at the moment. And
Yeah.
I think it's actually helping those of us who have great stories to find other ways of doing it and finding that audience, whether it's the collaborations, whether it's working directly with those who have already purchased from you in a way. It makes you become more creative, right? You have to listen to the customer and then get in there and find some new ways of doing it.
Absolutely. Look, I'm never bored. There's
You never
always
know.
something that has to happen, but I'm learning every day. So
Yeah, yeah,
got to be grateful for that. Yeah.
that's right. Now, in terms of learning every day, what about learning in terms of natural perfumes? Did you know that it was a thing at all beforehand? Have you are you traditionally a person who loves to wear perfume, wears it all the time, or not much at all? Tell me about where you sit there.
I've very much been aligned with fragrance much of my life. My auntie works for a fragrance writer. So I've been fortunate enough for her to give me fragrances whenever I need them.
Hmm.
So she knows what I like.
Okay.
And so I've got a very much a beginner's knowledge on fragrance notes and fragrance families. So something that I've always loved, woody oriental scents.
Mm-hmm.
And so I've always connected to those.
Mm.
They're generally the more, like most fragrances out there, the synthetic ones. They
Yes.
come from the big brands. That's a world that she plays in. So
Yeah.
I've had very little experience with natural fragrances. So I'm
Hmm.
very excited to be here today to talk about
That's right. That's
so
what makes
anything
this fun.
natural. I'm a fan.
Yes. And I made sure that a little delivery made its way to you beforehand so that there we go. We can have a little experience at the same time of some scents. So you've got them in minis, which is part of
Perfect.
what we do so that people can have a bit of a smell before they buy the full size. That's one of our ways of introducing people. And then I've
Yeah.
got some of them in their full size of the ones that I chose for you based on what you told me you like to wear or have worn before in the past.
Okay.
So we'll go through the range and you can tell me what you're smelling, what you like, what you don't like. And also maybe even if you notice how it might be different to some of those synthetics. Like, is there a difference there for you or not? It's always
Mhm.
interesting to see how people experience it. So, is there one in there that you'd really like to try first?
Uh, whatever the first one is I picked up.
Yes.
Let me see. I'm not wearing my reading glasses right
I
now.
know that's like me. I've got mine on.
So this one is
That looks like
called
Modus number 7.
uh, yes.
Meliss Modus number 7, it looks like. Yeah.
Yes, that's it.
Right. Yeah. Excellent. So this is a beautiful brand from WA, Margaret River in WA. And similar with your brand, with this one, hers is all about intention. So there is great intention put into each one of them.
Perfect.
And so, yeah. So pop that one on a little piece of skin that you might have
Okay.
and tell me, what do you smell? I'll do mine as well. Oh, I like this one.
Oh, wow. This is gorgeous.
Isn't it good? I'm going to open up my little...
All right.
And, of course,
My
people...
nose isn't as developed as
No one's nose is
it should
developed.
be.
This is the thing, right? And so it could make... What could come to mind is a place. What
I
could
can
come
talk about my emotions. It's very comforting
Yes.
right now.
Comforting?
It's very comforting. It feels like a warm hug.
Yes. Yes. Oops.
There's something that's a little fresh in there, but something vanilla-y and warm that's coming through at the same time, and I can't place my finger on
There
it.
we go. But it's good. It's all about how it makes you feel, of course, right? So
Always.
this one has actually got a top note of bergamot,
Okay.
and then through the middle is oak moss,
Ooh, okay.
and on the base is sandalwood.
Sandalwood always gets me as
Yes.
well. That's
What I
beautiful.
like about this one is it's a little bit, almost a bit peppery as well, is what I
Okay.
get in this one. Yeah.
Amazing.
Cool. All right.
And this is on my love list right now.
Okay.
So
Love
please.
list. Let's put that one on the love list. Okay. Modus number 7.
Okay. All right. So I'll get the other. All right. So this is One Seed Solitude.
Solitude. Okay. So One Seed are from South Australia.
Mhm.
A beautiful brand there. And this is in their unisex range. So give it a bit of a spray
Okay.
and tell me, ooh, what's coming through on this one.
This one's everything to me. So what it's I can smell a little vanilla
Yes.
in there,
Yes.
which is
Yeah.
always gets me. And oh, what's that? Is there tonka bean in there?
Ooh,
Someone once.
well, a tonka is very similar to your vanilla, a tonka
Okay.
bean, but yes, it does. It has tonka bean in it and vanilla.
What else?
Ooh,
What are the
it's so
woods in there? It's a little wood
yeah,
in as well.
yeah. So we've
It's
got black pepper on the top,
okay,
tarragon through the middle,
right?
then the base note of ambrette seed, tonka bean, orris butter, vanilla, and dry woods.
Okay.
Um,
This is hitting the spot as
cedar wood's in
also.
there.
Okay.
Yeah. So this one is described as fresh herbs over a smoldering fire.
Love that. This is ticking every box that I would ever want to tick for a scent. This is
Wow. Oh
my
my
core
gosh.
already.
Isn't it? Oh wow, I love that.
Um,
I love that.
so I need to get this one.
Okay.
I
All
love
right.
it. All right.
Good to see. All right, which one's next?
What's next is the Wyalba
Wyalba fire tree.
fire tree. Okay.
Excellent. So this is a
I'll just
beautiful.
take off my bracelets. I'm running out of room on my
I
wrist.
know, right? You got to use up your arm all the way.
Yeah.
Um, so these guys, Wyalba is the same from the same makers as Bondi Wash.
Okay, cool.
Yes. And they use very much Australian scents in a way.
This one's more, I don't know if it's the right word, ferny,
Yes.
ferny, mossy,
Yeah. So there's a little bit more green in there, right?
a lot more green. Yeah.
Yeah. On the top is neroli. Through the middle is some Tasmanian pepper.
Right.
And on the base is cedarwood.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
It's a lovely scent.
Yeah. It's that idea of they talk about a charred Australian forest.
I
So
love that.
yeah, a walk through the Australian bush, really.
Okay.
Yeah. I like that one.
Very nice.
All right. All right. What's next?
Beautiful branding as well.
I know,
What's
isn't it
next?
pretty? Yeah.
What's next is Isle of Blanc.
Yes. So Isle of Blanc or Blanc.
Blanc.
This is a beautiful Vahi, and they are from Victoria, and they've gone to a huge amount of detail. The bottles are French glass, just yeah, an extra layer of detail. So let's have a smell of the Isle of Blanc.
Oh, this is lovely. It's
Ooh,
reminding me of Neroli. Is that Tom Ford?
very possible.
And I could be completely off on that one. It's reminding me of
Mm,
a Tom Ford. I can't remember which one.
remind you of a Tom Ford, yes, which aren't
And
matching.
it's not the typical woody oriental that I'd normally be into. There's something fresh in there that reminds me of a holiday. Something that I would wear going on a beach holiday.
Mm-hmm. Yes, because it's got the citrus, the splash of citrus.
Okay,
So that's
cool.
what's making it feel playful.
Wonderful.
Yes?
I'm already in the Greek islands.
Yes, exactly. That's
Take me
it.
there now.
Oh,
Yeah.
no. It seems everyone on their Instagram is there right now. So
Yeah.
this has got a top note of lime and pink grapefruit. Through the middle is some lavender and geranium. And then on the base is the patchouli and cedarwood.
Lovely. And it's always going back to the woods for me. When there's a little citrus added, it always elevates it for me for a holiday. So I love that.
Yes, I like
Okay.
that.
So
Okay,
I'm ranking all of my scents at the moment.
good. Putting them in an order. I like that.
In order. I love that. What I'm gonna buy first. All right.
Okay,
So the next one is Midnight Ruse.
Ruse. Midnight Ruse by Vahi as well.
All right.
So the Vahi girls are travelers as well. They have, each one of these has been inspired by a place that they've been to.
This is really unique.
It is very unique,
I've
isn't
never
it?
smelled anything like this before, which is
Mm,
interesting.
here we go.
Oh, that's it almost has like a Middle Eastern
Mmm.
rose, Turkish delight.
Ah, like a Turkish delight, you're right. So
Is there rose water in there?
let's have a look. So this one they say is an ode to midnight in Paris.
Right. Okay. So there's rose in there, right?
So yes, there is.
Okay.
Sweet orange on the top, rose through the middle with some pepper and geranium and some cardamom, which is probably
Wow.
what's making it quite unusual. Yeah,
Okay.
there's a spice in the middle there. On the base is patchouli, vetiver, and cedarwood,
It's gorgeous.
isn't it?
I've never smelt anything like that. That's
It's a
wonderful.
little bit evening, mysterious. Yeah,
Yep. A balmy evening in Paris.
definitely.
So I've got one left here,
One left.
and it says number 3.
Yes, so that's Sonia Ort's number 3. Now, the
Okay.
why I wanted to pop one of these in for you is she uses an ancient technique of Spanish alchemy. So
Wow.
she's, I know, right? I know, right?
That's right.
She's trained in, and it's actually, she didn't even realize until she had her moment, a little bit like you as well, that she's actually got 2 generations of Spanish alchemists in her family, her mother and her grandmother, who hadn't sort of mentioned it at all. And then when she had her epiphany, then went and started learning it. So the Spanish alchemy is the sensor created at certain times in the lunar cycle and
Yes. Okay.
during the cycles. And then also parts of the actual plants themselves go through a process, and almost ash-like are also part of the scent itself as well.
This is taking me back to my childhood.
Ah,
Yeah.
a little sweeter.
It is sweeter, and it's reminding me of that first time that I got a show bag at the Easter show, and
Ooh.
it's that feeling of, and the reason why my mind is going there, I think, is self-discovery.
Mm,
It's having an experience for the first time.
mm.
Uh, is there orange in there as well? Like, is there?
So we've got red berries on the top.
Okay.
Yeah, you can sort of catch them. Then through the middle is actually cream custard, violet, and the white flowers through the middle.
Hmm.
And the base, it's described as a smoky caramel candy cotton base, which is the east,
That
like
is
going to the
nuts.
east show.
That is nuts. The memories it's evoking right now is giving me the chills. It's amazing.
I know, right? It how much that sits inside somewhere or outside, and we just access it, whichever way we want to look at it, and that smell can do that in an instant.
That's beautiful. I need to look into how that process worked and how
I'll
she
send you some
creates.
information for sure.
Please.
So please, Adrian, tell us of these incredible range that was chosen based on your likes. Which one is standing out on top?
Number one, one seed solitude. Hands down for me, this is my core love. And I'm going onto your website this afternoon to purchase a lot for myself. So that's right there.
Yeah.
And also Motus number 7.
Mm,
That was also a gorgeous scent too.
yeah.
So, but for a different reason, number 3, taking me back to my childhood and that sense of having an experience for the first time.
Yeah.
Absolutely love that. Love
Yeah.
new beginnings.
Yeah.
And that's almost inspiring me to want to set out on a new adventure in some way. So
Mm.
that's another one that yeah, need to explore.
Well, it's a little bit like having a bracelet for all emotions, moments, and needs. It's a little bit the same in terms of scent as well.
Do you ever
And
layer scents and wear more than one at a time, or is that,
so of course you can.
yeah,
Yes. There's
okay.
no rules. We all know now that really there are no rules. It's how we make it up. What we do suggest is in the early days you're wearing each of the scents, if you get multiples to begin with, on their own for a little while. Yeah, you give them
Yep.
their chance to get to know you, how it lays on your skin, how it goes over the course of the day. And then of course you can layer. But what I also love about naturals is you can put one on in the morning, and then by the afternoon, if there's an event you're going to, or there's a switch of mood as well, you can put another one on, and they're not going to compete with each other,
Okay.
because the natural scents do need to be applied a little bit more often, because they don't have the phthalates in them that make it stick to you, and then you have to kind of try and wash it out. So they have their natural way of washing out, and so it's easy enough to put a different scent on in the afternoon and evening.
It's another excuse just to continue to, yeah, smell amazing.
You're spraying, that's
And I
right.
need to find out where your packaging is from as well. It's beautiful.
I'm happy to share that has been, I'm in operation. So that is, if you were to see beside me here and then in my second bedroom as well, right? Where
Yep.
that is now the stock room, the number of places I've gotten sample boxes from, all sorts of things in order to find the ones that we use at the moment. Yes, I'm
Oh,
happy
look,
to share any of
I
those.
can see the rainbow of books behind you, and it's reminding me of the rainbow tourmaline right here. So
Yes.
every color.
Every color. This is thanks to my daughters. They love rainbow and putting things in rainbow order. So it's my ode to my daughters. It has been such a pleasure getting to know you, Adrian, and your Spiritus Stone that you have brought into this world. It's most exciting to hear of the next adventures that are on the doorstep for you as well, and taking us on that adventure with you. And thanks also for coming into the world of natural perfume and starting to explore that as well. It's been a
Thank you.
pleasure.